Hello, 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 5F. It's time for your weekly recap for the week 2 of your division.
Good evening, this is GSL hailing from the edge of civilization.
Yes. Due circumstances, we are running with a bit of a different setup today, but I think we'll manage. Should we get started? Did I lose you already?
No, it's the echo thing. Let's see if I can mute it here.
Sure.
No. Yeah,
If you're
sure.
watching through the stream.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
No.
So first off, with the Kraken Crusaders and Fast and Spurious. The Dark Elves against the Lizardmen. What do you have for us?
Yeah, alright. Yeah, the recaps. And I missed the last game, one of the games. It was I think the Dwarf game. But anyway, the first game of the week was Saturnus Dark Elves against Lasker's Lizards, and the Dark Elves induced a wizard. So this game was already discussed on the forums, and but I'll go through it quickly. So there was some discussion around this game already, but the game starts off with some maybe unorthodox plays by the Dark Elves, and the Lizards manage to leverage their strength advantage quite early in the game. And it's right at the start where the carnage begins, and the Croxigore punches one of the Blitzers into the afterlife. From there, the Lizards they pretty much comfortably stall, and there were some desperation plays by the Dark Elves, but the Lizards run it in on turn 8 for 1-0. And the second period continues in the tune of the first. Again, I think there was some misunderstanding on how the wizard works, and the wizard was used in the mid-turn, and the turn was ended. The ball is down, but also quite safe, so the Lizards pick it up and score, and at this point also the body starts racking up for the Dark Elves. At 2-0, the Dark Elves try a handoff play in the back that fails without rerolls, and the Lizards manage to get the ball and run it in for 3-0 at full time. Okay, next one is Shaitan Sans against Zoomning's Gobos. The Gobos have induced 2 bribes, and the Gobos receive. The ball is game starts. Ball is quite protected, and at the midfield there's some punching front and back, and there are some knockouts, but nothing major. Well, most notably the Fanatic is knocked out, but other than that it's just line players. The Goblins foul for first blood on a Mighty Blow Blitzer, and this also results in a send-off. The Gobos eventually find a way through the screen and way through the defense and screen off on their, let's see, their right side, and manage to screen off behind the zone lines. So there's quite a lot of zones are still on the line of scrimmage. So that is enough for the Gobos to run it in for 1-0 at turn 7. At this point, there is a play. There's actually a passing play and a handoff play. There's one totally free catcher on the far side of the pitch, but Shaitan goes for a different play. But whatever he was trying to do, the dice decided that this is not the time, and it's 1-0 for the Gobos at halftime. Okay, there was, I didn't mention it, but there was a knocked out troll that actually stays out for the second period, and right now it's 7 goblins against 10 Zons, and the sky opens and the rain starts pouring in. So the rest of the game, or at least so far, the game will be played in rain. The Zones have the ball quite safe, but are closed off on the right side. They relocate the center, and the chainsaw is doing God's work. There's no permanent damage, but the chainsaw is working, and the numbers are now 8 on 8. And at this point, the Gobos have some unlucky dice, and when they try to move their screen, and the left flank is wide open, and the zones are moving up. And at this point, as I know the score, I'm wondering what will go wrong here, but we'll come to that. There is actually now a throw teammate by the Gobos that ends up in a lucky Gobo being eaten, and this is actually the first time I've seen this happen, so a new experience for me, but the troll is still always hungry. The next move by the Gobos fails, so now it's just to run it in by the Zons for a tie. But the Zons, they try to run it in on turn 14 with a single GFI, and probably to actually win the game in 2 turns. But they've run out of rerolls and fail the GFI, and the thrower who tries to run it in is actually injured. The ball doesn't bounce out and is actually very safe, but with a couple of turns raining, no rerolls, a couple of turns left raining and no rerolls, Zans fail to pick up the ball in the rain, and it's 1-0 for the Goblins to take the game. Last but not least is Gaustos Woodies against Coach Cool's Brets, and the Woodies receive. The Woodies start the game with a couple of ones before they do actually anything else. It's not snakes, but close to that, and resulting in a turnover. And on the second turn, both of the Woodies rerolls are now gone. The Woodies eventually start moving up the ball, but the Brets manage to base the ball carrier, and the Woodies dodge the fail the dodge, and the Brets manage to pick up the ball and hand it off to a strength 4 blitzer, who just potatoes it down the field. There is some weak screen, but the strength 4 just blitzes through it, and it's 1-0 for the Brets. The Elves go for a quick score before halftime, but the ball isn't protected well enough, and the Brets manage to get it down to end the first half at 0-1 to the Brets, or 1-0. Right at the start of the second period, the Brets managed to knock out a couple of Woodies, and there's also a send-off for the Woodies for fouling, so now it's 11 on 8. There's a failed cage dive. Oh yeah. There is a. I was just wondering what I was wrote here, but yeah, there was a failed cage dive. Well, failed and failed. There were. I think there was a miscalculation on Gausto's part. So leap always takes 2 squares, and he only leapt one. But the blitz actually runs out of movement before he can hit. So he just jumps in the cage and bases. So that's easy cleared for the Brets, and they run it in on turn 12 for 2-0. And at this point, the Woodies are 2-0 down, and they are advancing, but they are managed or they are wrestled down. The Brets then pass the ball forward and scurry down the field. 3-0 for the Brets at turn 16. That's it.
Okay. Yeah,
Congrats for the winners. And
I also
as
watched the last game. Just finished watching it. To sum it up, it was a match of Vikings against Dwarfs, and the ball was just an accessory that just happened to roll into the end zone for the Norse a couple times. But looking at the numbers, it's quite unexpected, seeing that how the armor breaks ended up in Norse's favor, given that pretty much starting from turn 3 they were just scrumming at the middle, basing at every opportunity, and given those setups, I was expecting it to go in Case Dwarf's favor, but some lucky rolls removed a couple of the blockers in the early game, and the ball started rolling from there for the Norse. Yeah, that's pretty much it. All I have to say for the game. Otherwise, pretty eventful, given that there was quite a few removals, and an unfortunate miss next game for the bull at the very end, trying to blitz, but ending up with the boat down and knocking himself out.
that's all of the games. And
Yeah.
I, and actually, I didn't mention it there when we started, but yeah, I can't follow the stream either because somehow I can't turn off the audio I don't have the skills to turn off the audio for the stream, so it just echoes. So now I'll just be talking here long.
Sure. Now, what you missed or didn't bring up was the SPP gains, and for the first game with the Dark Elves and the Lizards gained a heavy advantage, given that as has been discussed on the Discord already, the Dark Elves, from what I understand, were basing the Lizards quite a bit and gave free blocks. The games between Goblins and Amazons, they tied with the SPPs with just couple over the MVP. On the Chaos Dwarfs against the Norse, Norse heavily outscored on the SPP side. And then the last one, the Wood Elves against the Brits, that was, despite the scores, quite even, given that the Elves seemed to be passing the ball given every opportunity, so everybody was gaining few SPPs. But then onto the teams and the team development. Let's start with the Norse this time.
And
Yep.
one more mention that I will try to pick up games plays of the week and players of the week, but this time, as you probably read. So there's been a little bit hassle. So in those 3 games, there wasn't anything I like. The play of the week was when the troll ate the Gobbo, because yeah, that's something I've never seen before. And yeah, I'll try to find look into that a bit more in detail, as was mentioned in chat after the first recap. So yeah, here you go.
Yeah, I'd say the play of the week was just in general that the Goblins went for 2-0 through two wins for the division so far.
Fair enough. Sounds good.
Yeah. Now on the development, the Norse gained 1 level up for another wolf getting a casualty or scoring a casualty. And they've gone with the block. I guess that's quite default for the wolves.
Yeah, some might take mighty blow just to rack up more SPP and get the block then, but block seems reasonable.
Yeah, that's the safe way to keep them alive.
Yeah, the boring way.
No. Now, while I was watching the game, as was mentioned last week as well, the Glor the Mad seems quite scary, but once again, I don't think he maybe racked one casualty, but the piling on so far hasn't done its thing. Yeah. On the other hand, the Yeti was bravely in the middle of the scrum all the time and managed to score 1 casualty for himself.
All right.
No new rerolls that I can tell of. An apothecary they had already. Not that far. Then the Bretonian team and their development. Yeah, the scary Preds with their stat-ups. So one of the Lesak brothers got a dodge. I'm not actually that familiar with the Bretonian teams, but that seems quite safe pick as well.
What player is he?
One of the Blitzers on the Bretonian team, the strength up.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Seems, They have
so now it's
normal
large.
and normal and agi access, so with normals, dodge seems pretty reasonable.
Yeah. Otherwise, team hasn't gained new rerolls. Any mentions of the plays or players of the team during the week? You're not obviously seeing what I'm seeing, so.
No, but yeah, I think they deserve more stat-ups, so we can bash on them more.
Yeah, I recall Coach Cool being sad that he only got normal on the Blitzer.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, they deserve all the stat-ups.
Then the Wool Elves, triple word score. I think they gained some level ups as well. Or no, they actually lost a lineman on a strength bust and another one on the agi bust.
Yeah, but there were some injuries.
Yeah, but that's the elf life. At least the
absolutely.
MVP went to a healthy player, but no level ups so far, and no new rerolls either.
If you don't have at least three loners, are you actually even playing elves then?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the core message everybody was telling Dark Elf coach Saturnus.
Yep.
Then on the case drawers, Red Bull Ball Busters. I think they gained actually a level up on the bull. So now, given that Taliesin at the end of the game trying to blitz without a block skill, he now has a block skill.
Was it the first skill?
Yeah, it was the first level up.
No. Break tackle for bulls. Block second.
It's the only breadwinner in the team, no other bulls, so I guess it's better to go with the safe pick here as well.
Even better, then they have the mobility. Which they don't have otherwise, and they already have 6 block as a given, so yeah. Break tackle all the way.
Yeah. Hey. So you wouldn't go with the safe play for the ball player bull? Or would you use the bull as a ball player, or how do you define a bull center in the team? What's the role?
No, the bull centers. Yeah, I think they are the sackers and mobility, but sackers and mobility, but the Gobos carry the ball.
Okay. So a break tackle to be more mobile then. The team has actually 4 rerolls. What do you think of that?
That's one too many.
Yeah.
But
that's some free inducements for your opponents.
Yeah, but that's also when you get Mighty Blow, and to be fair, when you get a lot of Mighty Blow, then you can greed reroll, so more damage.
Well, sure. Well, there's already 2 blockers with guard and Mighty Blow, so, and 1 with a claw. Actually, looking at one of the guard blockers gained a level up this game as well. So went with the Mighty Blow.
Yeah.
I guess that's default on the blockers.
Yeah.
Guards and Mighty Blows all around. Unless you get doubles from mutations.
Yep.
The price of the bull is what? Is it 120 or 130?
No, I don't remember.
He's banking 120k, so I'm guessing a bull is the next purchase here. And maybe once you have the second bull, remove 1 reroll to lower the team value a bit. Well, unless you feel confident enough that you need the 4 rerolls, obviously.
Yeah, the wizard will always roll a 1 anyway. So.
Yeah. Then on to the Amazons. My pick for the division winner. Even though they lost to the Goblins, but that's just how it's supposed to be. That's like the one loss they are gonna get this season. So no level ups for the Amazons, and no permanent damage. There are 3 rerolls, so I think that's the default for them as well. And they're banking 130. There's not really anything to spend the money on, though. They have healthy 4 blitzers, a catcher, a thrower, and 2 extra line women for the bench. So I'm thinking they're quite good for the upcoming games.
And especially with talking about Division 5, so there still isn't an abundance of Mighty Blow and tackle and all that. So 13 is plenty. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. And what I've watched, they don't really end up basing too much, so there's no issue with giving free blocks either.
Yeah. In the Lizard game, they were first round. They were forced a bit after the blitz in the first round, but yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. Then the Lizardmen. Fast and Spurious. Did I get some blocks for the Saurus or? Yeah, one of the Sauruses got a block, so 3 Sauruses with a block now, and 3 still waiting for the first level up. No permanent damage here either, so team starting to look healthy. 40k in the bank. I'm guessing. I'm not sure they had 3 reroll rolls before this game. I might recall wrong, but I'm guessing they may have bought an extra reroll.
All right.
So they are at 3 as well.
Yep.
Or have they bought a no club yet? The Rocky Patch Stadium. Skinks have gone with the sure feet and a couple with the sidestep. I guess that's pretty much default as well here.
Yeah. Yeah, and after sidestep, I'd go at least one skink with diving tackle, but yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. Move on to the Dark Elves. Now their team looks quite light, given that they are left with 2 Blitzers, 3 linemen, 4 linemen, and one missing next game. So 5 linemen. Why? I feel like there's. No, yeah, runner got nickeled as well, so that got sacked as well.
Yeah.
So 2 killed Blitzers and a nickeled runner. I guess it's a sort of a rebuild time, but with the Dark Elves, as with any elves, the loners are just your normal daily business. 2 rerolls is plenty for the players that you really need them. Just focus on trying to develop the players that you have and rebuild with the new Blitzers and move on from there.
Sounds about good. Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So the lesson of the week was that do not end up based next to the opposing players, but use your Agi4 to dodge away. I recall there was quite a bit of blocks given. Yeah, 48 blocks for the last game. And then move on to the Goblins. Last of the bunch. Team value 860. They weren't going for the TV play. But did they lose one of the secret weapons? Didn't they have bomber as well?
What?
The Goblins. No, they didn't have. They only have Fanatic and Looney, so the Saw and the Ball and Chain.
Yeah. And the Saw was doing a good job against the Zons.
Yeah, that's the potion to use against the Zons. Team rerolls. I think that's too many. You're not here to play safe. You're here to play for the chaos. More inducements without the rerolls. That's like that's a free bomber or another Saw or two bribes. Another goblin got sidestep after the game. How do you feel about leveling up goblins on a goblin team? Do you have opinions on that?
I don't really have opinion. I think especially if you get stat ups, then you develop them. But I mean, yeah, I wouldn't fire a level 2 goblin, but also wouldn't be good. I don't know much about goblins, but also wouldn't be good to have one goblin with catch for the 1-turn touchdowns.
I guess that's an option. I wouldn't say that's a default option though. There's so many dice to be rolled, so the catch kill on a one goblin that might not be alive by the time you get to the troll teammate play.
Yeah, maybe that's more of an orc thing when that you actually give catch to their goblin because
that's the only.
He's not very often on the field, but yeah.
Yeah, that's the only role for the orc goblin to be there for the bullet play. Trolls didn't get any SPP during the last game. Both of them have quite nice start already, so getting levels to those is I feel like the key to success of the goblin team.
Yep.
120 in a bank. Definitely don't use it on a team reroll, in my opinion. Maybe just fill up the bench a bit. Now with the one extra player, probably not enough against the Norse and they played against Case Dwarfs already, so that's done at least. But some of the more heavy-hitting teams. But then on to the next week, or should we check the predictions? No, let's do that after checking the matchups of this week or next week.
Yeah. Good.
So there's Amazons going against Dark Elves. Then there's Lizardmen going against the Chaos Dwarfs. Goblins going against the Wood Elves. And Norse going against the Preds. Any heavy favorites? Let's start with the Amazons against the Dark Elves.
I think with the Amazons, we'll take this. The Dark Elf team is quite crippled, don't have the skills to take down the Amazons, and I think let's Saturnus still maybe some of the more technicals of the game, so I think the Zones will take this.
Yeah. I think I agree. It's a rebuild time for the Dark Elves. Focus more on the gaining SPP, keeping especially the Blitzers safe, and trying to find the opportunities to score, but more focused on the safe recovery.
Yep.
Now next up, the Lizards against the Chaos Dwarfs.
Your turn to go first.
Sure. Given the game I watched, and given the missing bull from the next game, I'm going with the Lizards. They are healthy. They have three sources with the block, and the Chaos Dwarfs are missing the speed and strength up of the bull that they desperately need to keep up with the Skinks scoring.
Now all you need is a safety chorf.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
And your prediction, so Lizards.
yeah, my prediction goes for the Lizards.
I don't want to agree with you, but I still think I have to. So yeah, I'll go for Lizards as well.
Then next up is the Goblins against Wood Elves. I have a gut feeling.
Yeah, I if I go first here, so
Yeah.
yeah, the Gobos. I think the Soul will continue his good work, and the heart goes for the Gobos. So they're going for undefeated seasons. Gobos win this one.
Now I'd love to go for the same pick just because Stunty, but as I'm playing Stunty myself and I need to win the Stunty Cup, I'm actually rooting for the Wood Elves on this one, and just to keep the scoreboard or leaderboard even, so the Goblins don't get away with the too many wins.
Fair enough.
Now, last up is Freya's Guard, the Norse against Kafuik's Crusaders, the Bretonians. Your opinions on that?
This is a hard one. I think the Norse will put up a good fight, but the stat freaks will take it, and it's 2-1 for the Brets.
Yeah, I can see that happening, but after watching the Norse play just a moment ago, I actually think there's skill enough to guide the Norse team to victory over the stat freaks. There's the team is healthy, the Yeti is scary, and I believe the Thor, the piling on Mighty Blow Blitzer will start, or Berserker will start wrecking kills finally.
Yeah, it will have to work sometime, because it hasn't worked in 2 games now.
Let's actually take a...
But yeah, possible. And the first week's game I watched from the North, so can you check if the Brets, do they have a dirty player? Because the piling on Mighty Blower.
Yeah, he was down all the time.
Piles on every time.
That's true. Although there was one key moment that he didn't, so that's where I have my faith. But no,
okay, yeah.
The Brits don't have.
In the first
yeah.
Yeah, in the first week there wasn't such key moments.
Yeah. No, there was definitely a moment when staying up was the better option for sure, and he stood up. So
yeah, it might be the better option, but the more exciting option is always to pile on.
When
piling on.
Yeah, but when it doesn't work during the game, maybe.
Yep.
Don't do that all the time.
I
actually have a view for the predictions, but yeah, you can see that. But during the last week predictions, there was Zoom Nick, the Goblin coach, who was the only one with the 3 correct guesses or bets, and he scores 1 point for the last week. So there were a couple other coaches with 2 correct guesses.
Congratulations, Nick.
Yeah, congratulations. So the way this works, if somebody new is watching, is that the person with the most correct guesses during the week scores 1 point. What this allows is for somebody to catch up later down the season. Your guesses were just rechecking. So Amazons against Dark Angels. Dark Elves. Lizardmen win against Chaos Dwarfs. Goblins wins against Wood Elves, and Bretonnians win against Norse. Yeah. I'll write those down, and if anybody watching or later watching the VOD wants to participate, just write your predictions in the Division Discord, and I'll pick them up from there. And as long as a game hasn't been played, you can still participate. No, this actually doesn't work.
And I'll be back among technology for next week's recap. So that should be okay again.
Yeah, hopefully your daughter is fine and there's no issues there. I guess that's
seems she's fine. She seems fine.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Be back next week then.